Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are going to be reviewing a Silver Diva. If you guys are enjoying the content, liking what you're seeing, want more, please do feel free to like and subscribe. On the other hand, if you're looking for either reviews for yourself or, reviews while you're there, more live coaching type stuff, you can join my Discord in the description below, and you can see my rates and all that good stuff. So let's see where this goes. So who's your tanking partner? A ball. Okay. It's fine. Just absorb body block, body block. You don't need to absorb all of it. Okay. You can't push in. You know you can't push in because your ball just used his pile drive. So it's unlikely that your ball is going to hard commit to this right now. So you don't want to just stand in the open. You want to do a little more of this, a little more of this. From here, you can still defense matrix across to protect anyone that was rotating behind you, which in this case is your Anna. But if you're standing here, you're making your Anna think, oh, I gotta keep standing behind you and heal you, when she'll rotate this way if you leave her. And if she instead goes this way, well, like I said, standing here as Diva, you can still matrix in this direction to protect her. Plus, these guys can't shoot at you without coming more in, where, guess what? The teammates who are now behind you, well, in this case Mercy, but other teammates would be able to take shots at her, etc. So don't just stand in the open like this. You could potentially commit to this fight, but we don't really want to commit because our ball has already used pile drive, and that and his big shield are kind of his signals for he's committing. You want to eat the hulk? You don't have the tools to really commit to this. See this? You just boosted right into the enemy's face, and you did it basically with no matrix left. No matrix, no micro missiles. You just used your boosters. And if we look at the rest of your team, these guys are backing off, so you might luck out. But I know that your ball wasn't committing to this. I could tell that your ball's half health and rolling away. Like, your team isn't really ready to go in hard here. Your Genji's like, oh, I'll come in and help protect you with deflect. Oh, never mind. My Diva is absolutely crazy and just wants to go in hard, etc. I think you're going to get away with it because they're going to treat it as a soft dive and they're going to back off. But if you were going to boost like that to try to knock them back, you wanted to try and finish up here. That way you can close the angle, you can back off, etc., and you're not stuck in with no boosters. You don't want to be stuck in with no cooldowns like this. That's just bad. Yeah, so you should lose your mech for this, and it looks like you might. Okay, so this whole mech lose avoid thing, we've had three things we could have done to make that not happen so far. We could have gone over here and just sort of held this angle. We could have recognized that our ball had pile drived, so that was sort of our first key of this isn't going to be an all-in because we've already missed the window to all-in. Our ball pile drive to relieve pressure, not to actually set up an all-in, which means he can't pile drive for another 9 seconds. Then we could have not boosted into this without cooldowns. That would have also saved us from losing our mech. It would have been fine. These guys were naturally backing off on their own. Your Genji was going to pop up here, pressure them back a little, etc. Or if we still were going to use boosters, we could have boosted and we could have gone straight up to here, or we could have boosted to give them a little nudge backwards to help them rotate back, and then still finished our boost up here where we're safer. We can close the angle. Mercy can then hop us to us and be where she wants to be. Anna can still see us, but the enemies can't if we take steps back, or we can shoot them in the side if they continue to shoot back at our Anna or anyone like that. We can defense matrix across their face if we hadn't used it all to protect our Anna if we need to. All those good things. So that's like 3 sort of separate different ways or instances that we could have used to still have our mech by now. This is better. Shooting from back here like you are is better than you were when you were shooting from up here. When you were shooting from up here, both of these groups could shoot at you, but you can only physically shoot at one at a time. When you're back here, you can shoot at one and it can shoot at you. And you're shooting projectiles, so you don't have fall off on your projectile. So shooting from this range, it's a little harder, but you do just as much damage if you can hit your shots, and they're not really moving. What were you matrixing? Did you see incoming damage? Did you see a halt? Did you see, what do they have on their team? Did you see a halt? Did you see TNT? Did you see something specifically worth matrixing there? Because it looks to me like you wasted 40%. Okay, you just heard mines go off, so now you're pushing in. That's reasonable. I don't love this. Again, my preference would have been that you'd already rotated up to here, and that way you had boosters back or close to back, and that way when these mines went off, you could have boosted to here. From here, you can't really go do that boost. So you had to do this boost, or you chose to do this boost, and this boost is going to leave you a little more vulnerable. You can kind of line of sight with this wall, but D.Va's kind of slow to do that. I do like the thought of I want to support my ball, though. My ball's making a play, so I want to go in. No, 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 no! No! You don't... Why are you diving a full health Orisa? Like, I'm going to finish this Orisa. No. Go up here, make their Ash's job difficult, push their Ash off this high ground, and give your Mercy an easy way up to high ground so that she can then safely play from up here. That would have been the better way to do this. That boost didn't do anything. That was just putting it on cooldown. I can live with some of these clean up the fight boosts. I can live with some of these, the target is actually half health and my team is already all in this. I can live with some of those, but your early in the fight boost should be for better positioning, which is generally going to mean high ground, angles, etc. That boost was bad. That boost very well may lose you your mech. Boost works pretty well to peel things like Genjis off your backline too, but heck. There's a like no health Genji back here, and you're just gonna leave Anna to fend for herself. This is what I'm talking about. Like you boost into this and melee, or you boost into this and shoot, or when the Genji's just dashed at your Anna, you go no to boop him to keep him further away, and then to body block for her a bit. Those are good uses of boosters too. But you don't really want to, when there's a flanker behind on your support like that is pretty high priority for you. You are a off tank. You think more in terms of peeling. You can do some decent damage, but you do think more in terms of peeling. And you're looking at this as D.Va and going, okay, I can be peeling for my main tank. And you have a pretty darn self-sufficient main tank right now in Hammond. So if your Anna needs help, which in that case with that Genji, you would expect that she would have, even though she probably didn't actually, since he was down to no health and she was fine. You'd go, okay, how do I protect her, etc. And sometimes that's taking angles up here where you can matrix out the entire enemy team. Other times that's going back and booping away a flanker that's on her and then matrixing for their shots, etc. But heck, we'll continue. I'm harping on the point. Fine. Those are finishing them off boosts when they're actually in finish range. Here's the Genji that should have been eliminated a good 7-8 seconds ago.
You needed a doctor?
Don't just body block your Ana when she's trying to heal. Do respect her line of sight. If you go up over here, that's okay. If you can go up over here, that's even better. You can shoot them in the back and divide their attention, and they go, ew, I don't like that. You can also cast your matrix pretty well over them, and that still eats their shots. You protect your backliners from getting shot from these guys just as well or better from up here, where you go, aha, with your matrix, than you do from back here, where you go, aha, with your matrix. In fact, you actually do it better from up here, and part of the reason for that is you cover the matrix about as well, but you also distract them and make them go, hey, I'm getting pelted in the back of the head by micro missiles or by little diva annoying guns. Even at the range, it's a little bit annoying. So I'm paying some mental attention this way, even though most of my targets are over there. Maybe I'll turn and shoot at this diva, who then goes behind cover, and then I have to turn again and shoot at these guys, and then the diva comes back and can still matrix me, shoot me in the back of the head, etc. So you're actually protecting them better against these kinds of threats from up here. Now, you're not protecting them better from the Genji back here, but the Genji's in the respawn, so what do you care about that? And you're definitely helping your front line, your tank partner, more up here than you would be back with your team, back with your core. Yeah, just a little late on your reactions to fizzed out that. Not a big deal. But again, you wouldn't even have been there to be juicy if you'd been where I'd wanted you. You've got full matrix. You haven't mixed in any matrix into this. Okay.
Shut down. Weapons optimized. My ultimate is ready. Let's do this.
Turn away. So when he's deflecting, you need to turn away from him a little faster with your micro missiles. That's annoying on Diva. That'll start punishing you worse when you're playing it against Zaryas. Bubble. Heart? Good. Okay. So again, though, you hear this blade going off, and blade is one of those things that you want to be going, I get it, you're busy doing something else, and you got a lot of value out of that, but blade is one of those things that you want to look to. Can I go get a boop on the Genji to knock him back? Because your team can make it, him breaking your mech, you know, that's not such a big deal, and if you can boop him away from your supports, he's not going to get real eliminations, and your supports can tunnel heals into you. In this case, your Ana can tunnel heals into you and make it hard to get the break with the blade there. Go high ground, finish high ground! You can micro, yep. Not sure what you're matrixing. Matrix it. Okay. So you're diving in here. I don't really love that dive. It was okay, but honestly, they shouldn't have gone down quite that easy. There were 3 of them, and you were quite a bit ahead of your team. Okay, so you can just... Yeah, exactly. There we go. Well done. So this is mostly positioning stuff. Well, this is mostly booster and positioning stuff, and they dovetail together nicely.
0 to 3. Switching side. Initiating match.
I always thought you would understand better than most the duality of human existence.
5, 4, 3.
Let me just look at your comp for a second. You are now playing with a Sigma. Okay. And you're going to be playing into Reinhog. Okay.
2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Be careful out there.
Yeah, put pressure on him, that's fine. Heal the Genji. Do you hear the Genji? Yeah. So there's the Genji. And this is what I'm saying about you can just do a quick little boost into him to knock him back, and then you can continue to fight him, or you can, matrix him out, or you can go, okay, I've peeled him enough. He's no longer as annoying to my Mercy, as annoying to my Moira, as, farming as much ult off the back of us, etc. So, little boops for that are good. You heard that hook. As soon as you hear that hook, you want to look because you want to immediately look in Matrix because if he hits something with that hook, you potentially need to protect it. I don't like pushing into this. You don't have the tools. Okay, I can live with this one. It's a finisher. Again, no Matrix there, and I'm not sure why. You Matrixed a hook earlier, so I'm not sure why you're not Matrixing to protect hooks now. I mean, it doesn't do a fantastic job anymore, but... I'm pretty sure it still got you some value to Matrix that hooks. Yeah. So that was too dangerous. You 100% should have been hooked. This was probably where you needed to summon back from. But that's okay. He missed. Or rather, he got someone else. You have to leave on your next visitor. You didn't get the job done. Yep. So that's Blade, so you want to be looking for, I know he's going to go for a support, so you're pretty much immediately ready to boost over towards your support and knock him away. This is not protecting your support. You're fine at this range. Are you going for self-destruct? Okay. You don't know where he is, do you? That's fine.
60 seconds.
Okay, they do get this. Good. You're about to get hooked. Okay. Yeah, so remember, I don't know why you're letting these guys get so close. Like, it's okay if you poke them as they're approaching, but this is a Reinhardt walking towards you in Sigma, and you guys are standing your ground. And Sigma is for sure a poke tank, and you don't particularly want to brawl with Reinhardt in close range either. So there should be a little more going, yeah, we'll tax you on the way in, but, maybe we'll back up, maybe we'll retreat to this next cover, maybe we'll retreat up here. You don't really want to retreat up here while Roadhog's hook is off cooldown because you can't, if he hooks someone, you can't then go in and help as easily. But, if he puts his hook on cooldown like you did, okay, there's a good excuse for you to come up here, etc. Anna. Stay on Anna. Yeah. Yeah, you're just stalling point at this point. That's fine. You have to get on point or get out. Don't get staggered. Leave, leave. They got the points and you're not all here. That's not worth. So they just got the point. So even if you get yourself a nice 3K, 4K, even if you got the magic 4K here, it's going to cost them 11 seconds. Their spawn is right here. Right here. If this gets like a 2K, is your team likely to follow up on it and all push forward and clean up the remaining 2? They might, but honestly, when they're that close to the enemy spawn, when they're past a natural choke like this, especially at lower levels, your team tends to hate the idea of pushing past the choke to go do some spawn camp, to go do some cleanup this late, etc. So probably not going to be worth. In general, ulting them to finish them right after they got a checkpoint like this isn't fantastic, just because of how ult economy works, how it works that, hey, this is literally only going to cost them 11 seconds, whereas if you make them set up, make them do stuff over here, etc., and then you win the team fight, that costs them a little more. You win the team fight here, that costs them a little more. Now, that's not me saying, oh, you should let them push, to here every time before you take a team fight. By no means. But you do want to take team fights that, okay, your ult gets a few of the eliminations, and then your team gets to clean up and get the rest, or you get to clean up and get the rest after your ult to get some of the more, but it's easy for you to do because you've got a 6v3, etc. Those are a little better. You get back for your team some of the ult charge that you spent. I just don't think your team is going to follow up here. I also think that this costs them almost nothing. So let's see if your team will push forward and take it. And also the card will move a little bit further than it is automatically, whether they do anything or not. Yeah, the card's gonna fully come out of that garage like it did. Okay, so maybe not automatically that far, but it'll automatically come out of the garage regardless, and it was still coming out of the garage when you were throwing that self-destruct. Stay on the high ground. Stay on the high ground. Okay. So if you stay on the high ground, you potentially get to pressure him from over here, which makes him a little more annoyed. Now he's finally back enough, but he was here for a moment, and that lets you shoot him in the side, in the head, etc., which would have made him pick a little bit more with his shield, would let you actually apply more shield to his more pressure to his shield from a closer range, which is going to break it faster, while still being relatively safe, because Genji's the only one that can bother you, and if Genji, comes up to bother you, you kind of go, oh, cool, a Genji. Plus, you give your Mercy a chance to come up here, and she'd prefer to play from the high ground. Again, all that good stuff. Well, okay, she's Falcon, so she can do what she wants position-wise, but hey.
My ultimate is charging.
You can actually maintain high ground here. Make them force you off. I think you missed that he was whole hogging for about 3/4 of a second there, so a little faster than Matrix. No, you're down too many. This is incredible. Okay. That shouldn't have worked.
Time to raise my DVA. Need healing.
You ready to boop it away? Boop it away. Boop it away. See, you had boosters that whole time, and he was kind of in front of you. If you just shifted into him, it would have knocked him back with his team where your team isn't, and that protects your team. Like that's exactly what you wanted to do.
Mounting turret forward barrier.
So again, if you're up here, that's more annoying to them. Now it's too late because you have to either touch cart or give it up and get all the way out. But if one cart was here, you go up here, that's more annoying to them. They're thinking, are we looking up from here? Are we looking up from here? Or are we looking forward at the enemies in front of us? Okay. They got the point. You don't need to... Okay, fine. Fine. You have the spawn wave. It's appropriate to kill them here. It's appropriate to get the limbs really for the ult charge here. You're still not going to be able to hold them this far forward. You're past where their spawn is. They're not going to push the cart right now. That's not a particularly dangerous thing. They're coming from over here, so actually what would have been perfect is a bomb that literally blows up right here. That's where you wanted your bomb to go off if you were going to throw bombs. They're not interested in the cart. They're really not interested in the cart until they win this team fight and clear you guys, because once they do, they're going to get this space for free. Like, that's okay. Maybe not for free. They have to win the team fight first, or they have to force you guys to back off. But like, they're gonna win the team fight first. They're not gonna go, oh, we have to push this cart. So you like throwing your bomb right above the cart. Not terribly valuable. A little unfortunate that you guys were stacking Matrix and Grasp there. But the instinct to press Matrix was the right one.
Time to raise my APM.
I think you're just gonna get staggered.
Mounting turret forward
I think you... Okay.
Setting out the welcome mat.
So now your team is taking this. You can fight them from up here, and it's beautiful. It's wonderful. You get to get nice critical damage on the Roadhog, on the Lucio. You can still throw your Matrix down from up here to protect your team. If someone gets hooked, you can even get a better angle to try and Matrix that. Like, you've got all sorts of good stuff. You can eat the Reinhardt because his Fire Strike animation has a wind-up time. You've got time to react to get that from up here. Up here is beautiful. Go be up there.
30 seconds.
Boosted away, knocked away with booster. No. We tried. Okay, so in a team fight that you're losing, you can't retreat unless you're sure you can get out. You instead need to go get eliminated on cart, stall out cart, and eventually you'll get eliminated because they're not making progress while you're on cart. Right now, they're pushing the cart, they're triple pushing the cart, in fact, and they're getting an elimination on you. That's absolutely what you don't want. Cart's moving, and you're delaying when you come out of spawn next. If you delay when you come out of spawn next by, dancing around cart, but you're also ticking down their timer and the cart isn't moving, that's better than this right here.
10 seconds remaining.
Turret's under fire. My turret.
Let's get you back in the fight. Activated.
Good easy Fire Strike. And I'm thinking they finish this.
Time to be young to die.
Cart? Cart? Okay. So, I see it. There's some extra time rounds, and it'll be fast. One of you has time and the other doesn't. Okay.
Ready for battle. Ready for battle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
If I have to. Bad guys, heads up.
You don't stay here. No, you don't stay here to waste your matrix taking a poke battle with a bastion bind a shield. You don't do it ever. You can eat the halt. You were good to eat the halt when you saw it, but your next approach is to go, okay, how do I break line of sight on the bastion to get closer to him? And it looks like my path is here, and then I walk closer to him. And then when I'm ready, I go, okay, this bastion is super annoying, but once we're ready, Ball and I are going to push him at the same time. Or I'm going to help my team rotate closer. So we'll get to here, and then I'll matrix from here as my Reaper and my McCree and my Briggs walk across, and then I'll let them continue, and once they're here, then I'll recharge the matrix, and my Bull and I will dive together, and I'll full matrix the Bastion. You don't matrix the Bastion during poke, though, other than to eat halts and things like that, and to cover rotations. You matrix the Bastion when your team is ready to full commit on him. And your team is nowhere close to ready to full commit on him. Your McCree, look at your comp. Your comp has no meaningful poke. Even if it did, you wouldn't want to take a poke fight with a Bastion in most situations. This is a poke hero. This supports poke heroes. And you have the ability to poke a little at range with micro missiles. Not great. There's no way that you're beating double shield mercy boosted Bastion in a poke fight. So you going, oh, I'll pour all of my matrix into doing this, etc. No, you're using matrix to cover rotations, and then when your team is ready to rush in and charge them, you're being a distraction, you're shifting up, you're matrixing him from above, so that you don't immediately get charged out, etc. That's what you're looking to do here. That's exactly how you're looking to use matrix. You're just feeding him back. You just fed him 500 health and all of your matrix.
Time to raise my APM.
Stay behind cover until your team's ready. There you go. If only you had matrix for this time. You had stuff. Okay. So you got it. Good job that you won. We're definitely going to focus on your booster usage. So the main thing for your booster usage, well, let's not start with the main thing. We're going to do booster usage and positioning because they dovetail together nicely and they're both really in need of help right now. The first easy thing about booster usage is, hey, you can use boosters to bump into flankers when they're on your backline. Hey, you can use boosters when Genji pulls out Blade after he's used his first dash to make his life miserable. Like, those are things that should sort of be, oh, yep, these are things that I look to use boosters for. The other thing dovetails into the next point, though, which is boosters, when you can, you want to end on high ground. You want to end to the side on high ground, behind on high ground, compared to your opponent's front line or core, especially when you're playing against more poke-heavy comps or brawl comps, as opposed to when you're playing against flank-heavy comps. Flank-heavy comps are sometimes going to do a little more getting around, but your staging looks different in that, and we don't see we see some full dive comps, but you didn't see that here. So when you're playing against these poker-heavy comps or these brawl-heavy comps, at least dive is different because you're really contesting staging with them, so that becomes angles too. But this becomes get high ground above or behind, shoot him in the back. You can still matrix just fine, but if you're using your boosters to get to those positions, you're also safer. You're not going to get swung at by a Reinhardt if you're above him. If a hog wants to throw hooks at you, you can duck behind cover. You can back up while you're on high ground to make the high ground your cover between you and him. You can still matrix across them quite easily from above, from the side, and still protect your teammates that are over here with that matrix the same way, just as well, if not better, than you can like this. But you're more threatening to them, and they go, oh, I want to look in this direction, or I want to look in this direction because I'm being shot in this direction. Or if I look in this direction, you're having an even easier time shooting me in this direction, etc., while still providing all your good matrix value. So boosters, those are going to help, and boosters can be used to get to these positions. Again, that have some level of safety, so like high ground, or boosters can be used to peel off the Genji, the Tracer, etc., that is bothering your Ana, your Zen, etc. Your mostly using boosters right now to go into try and finish eliminations, and that is a third use of boosters that is valid, but we don't go diving Orissas that have 80% of their life left. We go diving preferably a Genji on our backline. There's 30% of our his life left. But we go diving things that are less than 50% when the rest of our team is also committing, or we dive as part of a coordinated dive. We don't dive high health targets, and our preference for booster use, at least in the poke phase, at least in rotation stagings, etc., is to take positioning or to peel. The last thing is really as part of coordinated dives or to clean up in a limb that we're very sure we're going to get. Not, oh, let's go dive at high health targets as the opening gambit unless it's part of a coordinated dive with a ball, with a Genji, etc. Anyways, I hope that helps. If you have any questions, you can leave them in YouTube comments. For anyone else that is looking for coaching, you can join my Discord in the description below and see what my rates are. And for people who are just here watching, enjoying the content, that's great. Please do like and subscribe. Thanks. Temporal out.